My current major is mathematics with a teacher licensure. So my goal is to be a high school math teacher. There's other degrees as well for math, but for math high school, that's the only major. Organizations that I was a part of, I started out at my Weller Hall Council. Then the next year, I was a resident assistant at Thomas Hall. And I also, that year, was the president of Math Club. So I ran and held meetings and brought the Math Club up to its current state, which is very popular and has a full e-board, which is very exciting. Yeah, those were all my experience. I learned about the RA position through one of my friends who was a resident assistant. I was told about the benefits and also the leadership experience that I got. It was something that I really wanted to develop. The RA position is really, really good for developing a leadership, developing yourself in a leadership role. And I knew this is something that I needed to work on, so that was the reason why I applied. I think my favorite part of the job was definitely programming. I had a lot of fun. So I was having them find resources on campus in like a little scavenger hunt almost. And we're trying to find where they were and what services they used throughout campus. So just incorporating something kind of fun and goofy from the hall and also some resources in campus was something that's a really cool opportunity, especially for me as an educator. I was able to try to figure out something that I was passionate about and something my students were passionate about, and to connect that to something that I wanted to teach them as well through the program. So. I think definitely the community and like that programming as well, connecting with the students and working with them and getting to see them grow and develop over time. I think that was a huge thing that was really rewarding. Seeing them, now on campus going out, I could tell that at first they were a little not as confident, but I can tell now they have a lot more confidence in their step and knowing that they've used some of my resources that I talked about on campus, which has been really cool. So yeah, I think that's the most rewarding aspect of being an RA.
Sure.
Set boundaries with students as well. I think that's also something that's really helpful. And have fun with the position. I think sometimes, I was so focused on, the paperwork and all that stuff, and I just took a step back and I just tried to have fun with the position and working with the residents, and it was a blast, and it was so much fun. Take time for yourself, take time to relax, recharge, give yourself time to step away from those shoes for a little bit, even if it's something as small as 20 minutes. Take that time for yourself to help with your mental health, because if you're not giving yourself 100%, and if you're pouring from an empty cup, it's not going to be sustainable for yourself. And you're not helping your residents as well. So I'd say just take care of yourself, and you're going to end up taking care of everyone else. I feel like there are so many little things that you do that is going to be useful with you as your career, especially for the field of education. Behavior management and classroom management are two things that you learn when you're working with a floor of students. I was fortunate enough to be with the freshman baseball boys. That was a really awesome experience working with them. They were a really awesome group, but they were also very excited and full of energy. So sometimes having to tone that energy down a little bit when, I could tell it was like during midterms week, was something that I needed to do. But they were a really awesome group of guys, and I was so happy to be with them. I also, the classroom management is something important. If you're wanting to work in business and be a boss, having to manage people and having to help work with them is a huge skill that is learned and developed in being an RA. Also, emergency situations happen. You're going to be responding to those. In those emergency situations, those are always going to happen with your job, especially when you're an educator, right? If you're an early education major, you're going to have, people, little kiddos throwing up and having health issues, right? You're going to have to respond to those. You're going to have to help them get to a nurse. For me, right, I had those type of emergency situations, and when those happened, my RA brain was able to come in and help and do the best for the situation. And it might be scary as an RA, but I would say I know this is something a little off track, but another piece of advice is that if you're really afraid about those emergency situations, the primary goal for an RA is to calm the resident down, calm the situation down, and call somebody who can help. Those are the two biggest things you need to do. At least I believe from my experience, right? You call up, get the support that you need for you and your residents, and just calm the situation down. And that has helped me a lot. Be a lot more successful in those type of situations. biggest thing that I think has really helped me was being a lot more successful in job interviews. The interviewing process for an RA was a very professional setting, so that also just gave me a little bit of interviewing experience in the professional world, especially it being a panel style interview. This helped me a lot, be a lot more comfortable with being in an interview. Also, a lot of the skills that they asked about were directly applied and learned in the RA position, which has helped a lot. And one of those types of situations, which is a situation that you don't commonly think about, are that I actually had experienced in my student teaching was those type of emergency situations. So on my first day of student teaching, I had a student that was in the hallway, and I was walking to grab some copies, and the student had a seizure, and I had to respond to that student, make sure that student was okay, while other people were coming in to give the support. In that moment, of course, everyone kind of gets a little nervous, but my RA brain kicked in. I've encountered those type of not that exact situation, but I've encountered situations of emergency, and that with that training, with that experience, I was able to handle the situation and be very calm, which is very helpful for these type of situations to not panic. And that made me successful, and that helped that situation be very smooth, and I was able to help that student a lot. So with interviewing and being able to be a lot more successful and helping students in emergency and everything in between, being an RA has really helped me in the professional field. It is an amazing opportunity. It is something that can, it's also, there's something I didn't even notice was there's even a networking aspect to it that's happening behind the scenes. I remember my mom, she told coworkers that I went to Eastern, and the first question they asked was, "Were you a resident assistant? Was he a resident assistant?" Other universities and other people have had RAs, and they have been very successful. So I think they're looking for other people that are also resident assistants, because those are the natural born leaders that are wanting to step up. So people that are resident assistants are growing to be leaders. And it's been a really awesome experience. And there's so many things that you're using, whether in your education, business, or some other field, you're going to use the skills for being an RA. So I think it's a huge role that has helped me be really successful in my future career.